So today's video we're going to talk about training, and there's a lot of aspects to training, but we're going to start off from the beginning for the beginners, and then we're going to go up to advanced. So firstly, people that when we start training, people are looking for advanced training routines. I personally believe that we need to start at the beginning with basic compound movements. Now, even when I started my little sort of return of trying to sort of like come back, I have a plan, and that plan is firstly to sort of like pick certain exercises, basic exercises, and I start off with a certain weight, say for instance 5 sets of 10 with a certain weight that's not too heavy, and the goal is to build up every week from that. And that's what I must do. So people say to me, how do you get motivated to train in the garage or anywhere? And I say, well, that's because I know what I've got to do before I even get there. And that's what's important. A lot of people walk into a gym or go in their garage, and some days they'll go, I can't be bothered. Some days they'll be up for it and they'll go mad and then they'll injure themselves. So this way we just have a plan. We've got to build up our strength. We've got to keep progressing every week. So I don't do any drop sets, no supersets, nothing like that. It's just compound basic movements. So building up my strength and conditioning my body ready, so when I do sort of start doing the drop sets and supersets, my technique is there, I've got my strength, and then we can really go for it. So what I do is I pick certain exercises, like I said, and every week I know what I've got to do before I actually go into the gym. So it could be like 5 sets of 10 for bench, say for 100 kilos, and then I'll do that. And then next week I'm thinking, right, as I'm on my way to the gym or going to my garage, I'm thinking, right, I must do 5 sets of 10, but it's going to be slightly heavy. It could be 105. It could be an extra set. It could be an extra rep. It could be, but as long as it's more than it was the previous week. Now, I've trained people in the past, and I'll train a couple of weeks, and then they'll go, right, what are we doing today? I said, well, the same as last time, but slightly heavier. You know, people get bored, so they want to keep chopping and changing, but then we don't see no progression, you see. So progressive resistance training for me works certainly to start. And what you'll find is you'll keep progressing until you'll get to a point when your strength is up. And I think that's the time then to start incorporating supersets and drop sets and giant sets, and then we can really smash it, and the body is conditioned then to be able to cope with that. So I think that's very, very important, is that you've got to start from somewhere. You've got to have a plan. You know, it could take 6 months, you know. So in my mind, I think, right, in 6 months' time, this is the type of thing I want to be doing. These are the type of weights I want to be achieving. Okay, so it gives you a goal. It's much easier working that way than just strolling into the gym and just sort of like deciding at the time what you think you're going to do. Have your sets planned, have your workouts planned, have your weights planned, and it's just a case then of executing it. So once you've done that, we go on to slightly more advanced. Once you've sort of like got to a point when you've been training and you've built up good strength, then we can start incorporating things like drop sets and supersets and stuff like that, which work brilliantly. I mean, you know, lately I've been doing a lot of sort of high rep work and giant sets on arms. That seems to be working really well. So yeah, we can start doing stuff like that, but certainly still you've got to have a plan. You know, in your mind you've got to know what you're going to do before you get to the gym. So the problem with it is when people have personal trainers, it's a bit of a problem for the personal trainer, because the issue is that people, they're paying, so of course they want these complex routines, when really it's the simple ones that work. You know, sticking with the basics. I can't stress it enough. You know, it's like it's worked for me here. You know, it's just a case of every time I've gone into the gym, I've executed what's been in my head. Tonight I already know what I've got to do. Tomorrow I already know what I've got to do. It's going to be slightly more than it was last time, and we're slowly progressing. Once I'd done that, actually on legs, I started thinking, right, I've built up my strength now, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a second workout. That second workout is going to be things like my drop sets and my reps, and then my other workout on legs is going to be just heavy. So I'm attacking them from both sides. So we've got a really heavy workout, and we've got a rep workout, and we can do drop sets, and we can do supersets, and we can do all that type of thing. So that works really, really well. But I think people do that too early. You know, they get in the gym and they're starting to do all that, and they haven't even built any core strength. Their technique will fail. The technique will always give up first. So, for instance, if you're squatting, you know, you want them squats to be sound, the technique to be sound, the strength to be there. Otherwise, if you start doing supersets to start, there's not enough strength. You're just not going to stimulate muscle, and it's just going to be pointless. So my advice to anyone that's sort of starting is definitely have this plan. And I say when you're starting, it could be at any level really. I mean, whatever level you're at, it's basically just continually progressing. Now, when I owned the gym, I remember a guy that used to come in and he used to train really, really hard. But then I looked at him and I thought, you know what, he hasn't changed at all in a whole year or 2 years. And the reason for that, it wasn't because he wasn't training hard, it was just that he wasn't changing anything. He was doing the same now as what he was doing last year and the year before and the year before that. So it's very important that you keep progressing. And admittedly, over the last, 5 years, I haven't been progressing, but I've sort of trained to try and maintain. But now I'm trying to build muscle. I understand that I have to keep progressing them weights up. And I have to do that because there's no reason for the body to grow otherwise. Why would it? I mean, it has no reason to. So you have to keep pushing it beyond what it's capable of. But I think another thing is people also can get obsessed with weight. And this is bodybuilding. It depends what you're training for. I mean, I see MMA fighters training as bodybuilders, or bodybuilders training as MMA fighters. It's ridiculous. If you're bodybuilding, you're bodybuilding. If you're powerlifting, you're powerlifting. If you're MMA fighting, MMA fighting. It's all different types of training. So, for me, as far as bodybuilding is concerned, the main thing is to get blood in there, to get the pump, to stimulate the muscle enough. To be honest with you, I would love to have 22-inch arms lifting a pencil. That would be ideal. Some people are really, really strong and got tiny arms. Well, that's not a lot of good because they're more prone to injury. So for me, really, it's not all about strength, although I do like to obviously see progression in strength, and I push to get stronger because that's what drives me to sort of train harder, like I said before. But it doesn't need to be weight. It could be extra reps. It could be extra sets. But like I said, as long as we're progressing on something every week, everyone's got natural strength levels. I've known people that are not strong at all, but are massive. I know some people that are super, super strong, but not that big. So genetically, some people are just stronger than others, And genetically, people grow muscle better than others. It's just the way it is. But you've got to find workout that works for you. Some body parts I respond better to with slightly higher reps, and some body parts I respond to better if I do low reps, if I go with weight. I think you have to sort of look at this and experiment a little bit as well. So today, the best advice I can give, certainly to someone who's starting, is not to just randomly go in the gym and, have a plan, whatever that may be, just have a plan and make sure that every week you try to beat what you did last week. Like I said, whether it be weight, whether it be reps, whatever, it has to be more. And in your head, think about what you're about to do. It's just a case then of executing it. So if you were going to do 5 sets of 10 with 100 kilo squats, that's in your head, you have to do it. If you don't, then, you feel disappointed in yourself. So once I've got it in my head, I'm doing something, I have to do it regardless, because otherwise then I feel happy that I've achieved what was in my head before I actually went to the gym. So basically, that's it with the training. Don't overcomplicate it. You can't beat hard work. You have to go in the gym, you have to train hard. It's as simple as that. If you're not going to do that, then it's really not going to work. And then with that, alongside that, you need to get the diet sorted out, which we're going to talk about in the next video. I'm also going to talk about the supplements. We're going to go on to everything. But as far as the training is concerned, that's the best way to, I think, personally go about it. I hope this has helped a little bit. We'll speak to you soon.